Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. This is Police Corporal Candidato Candi Mangandog, your instructor in juvenile delinquency and juvenile justice system. So, I am sorry because last Sunday I was not able to upload a video presentation for our subject because I don't know if you have already knew that last Saturday was my marriage wedding day. So, uh, this Saturday is our makeup class, so please watch this, comment down on our group chat for your attendance, and for more clarification and question, please feel free to ask me. So, uh, last time we have discussed about the introductory part of juvenile delinquency. So now, what is juvenile delinquency? It refers to youth behavior which is against norms and regulations of society, which left unchecked would give rise to criminality. So ang ibig sabihin ng juvenile delinquency, ito yung mga misdemeanors na ginagawa ng mga kabataan natin, youth, na kung saan hindi natin napapansin, na kapag hindi natin yan binigyang pansin at binigyan ng magandang rules or regulation para ma-stop sila sa kanilang ginagawa, is po pwedeng mag-rise, to a certain level kung saan pwede silang gumawa ng criminality. So it is an antisocial behavior which differs from the normal model of set of laws and parameters. So culture which society in broad spectrum does not conform. So ito yung mga activity nila, antisocial behavior na hindi natin ina-accept sa community. So kinakailangan natin magbigay ng isang karampatang halimbawa, parusa sa kanila para ma-stop ang kanilang mga ginagawa. So there are categories of delinquents. Sino-sino yung mga delinquents, kung paano ito nagiging antisocial behavior ang kanilang ginagawa. So, meron silang accidental. So, itong accidental, essentially law-abiding citizens but happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, ito yung mga tao na hindi sila gumagawa ng krimen. It just so happen na nandun sila sa pinangyarihan ng krimen at saka sa time na yun. Ang halimbawa nito is, kung sinasabi natin sa English na tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. So, tigran na si Samranaw, munot ka ko mga alim, na muli ka alim, munot ka mamuko mga para rugby, na muli ka para rugby. So, yan yung mga tao na kung napapadpad sila dun sa lugar, pinangyarihan ng lugar, because of, halimbawa, sa peers, yung mga kasama nila, friends, yun yung mga nag-uudyok. So, yan yung accidental. Asocial, acts of children manifested by vile, cruel and atrocious for which they feel no remorse. So, itong mga social naman ito is, ito yung mga, ang magandang halimbawa nito is, yung mga bata na nasanay na dun sa cruelty, kinagis na nila, simula bata pa sila, tapos, namulat na sila na ganun yung kanilang paniniwala, ganun ang kanilang kinagis na. So, pwedeng, at the end of the day is, gayahin nila yon. Kung mapapansin niyo yung nangyari doon sa kay Juvenile, kung saan pinatay na yung mag-ina. So, yung anak niya, hindi natin makikita sa video na nagwawala nung makita niyang pumatay ang tatay niya because nakasanay na sa bahay na nag-aaway yung nanay niya, halimbawa, yung tatay niya, malakas ang boses. So, yun yung mga tendency na possible na ma-adapt ng isang youth o ng bata. O, meron din tayong neurotic, a direct result of internal conflict and preoccupation with his own emotion and mood. So, ito mga neurotic na naman ito is, ito yung mga tao na paiba-iba yung emosyon nila, yung mood nila. It is because sabi ko sa inyo kanina, pwede yung mayroon silang pinagdadaanan sa buhay. It's either trauma sila sa isang bagay, o kaya stress. So yun yung mga possibility na magiging tendency kung bakit sila makakagawa ng masama, ng criminality against the law dahil dun sa kanilang pinagdadaanan. Okay, meron din tayong social. Social aggressive teens who resents authority. So social naman, ito yung mga kabataan na dahil na rin siguro sa gusto nilang mag-explore sa mundo. Kung mapapansin niyo, kayo mga bata pa lang kayo. So yung gustong-gusto niyong gawin yung mga bagay na alam niyong hindi tama. So yun, ang nangyayari nito is gusto nilang i-try na dahil bata sila, hindi sila pwedeng makulong. So gagawa nila is makikipaglaban sila, halimbawa sa autoridad, lalaban sila, hindi nila tutuparin kung ano yung pinapautos ng authority. So yun yung mga agree sa social. So meron din tayong methodology towards delinquency. So, sa methodology, meron tayong sinasabing biogenic approach. Delinquency is the result of physical defects. Sa biogenic approach, kung sa buhay na niya is yung physical defects. Mayroon talaga doon sa physical defect niya, yung it's either, ito is yung pag-ugali niya, yung kung gaano siya, kung napaka-agresibo niya, kung paano siya makihalubilo sa tao, yun yung physical defect sa kanyang kapagkatao. Biogenic explanations of crime identify motivations to criminal behavior in the physical or constitutional makeup of individuals. Dito sa biogenic approach, gina-explain dito kung paano ang tao, paano ang bata nagiging criminal ang kanyang behavior. So ano yung mga possible na nagudyok sa kanya para gawin ng krimen na yun, halimbawa. Thus, early explanation which posited a link between criminality and physical degeneracy, or which ascribed criminal propensities to personalities or temperament associated with particular body types or shapes. So, dito sa biogenic approach, kung mapapansin nyo dun sa previous subject ninyo, if I'm not mistaken dun sa criminal sociology, kung mapapansin niyo yung pinag-aaralan natin kung ano yung criminal mind ng the aspect na lahat ng mayroon ng tao. Ito yung sa psychology, it study about the mind and behavior of every individual. So dito sa biogenic approach, meron silang sinabi na ito yung mayroon daw mga tao na kapag makita mo yung pangangatawan niya o sa shape ng kanyang katawan is may tendency na doon yung sila yung prone na gumawa ng krimen, which is sa atin sa Islam, sa atin sa is napakalayo sa katotohanan, pero kinakailangan natin ito pag-aralan. Brain damage, genetic processes, and metabolic disorders cannot be treated using the biogenic approach. So dito sa biogenic approach, hindi natin magagamot yung brain damage, genetic processes, brain damage yung halimbawa sa utak niya, yung kung anong kinagisnan niya, kung ano yung mga bagay na kanyang nakikita sa kanyang environment, based on his or her experiences sa buhay. So hindi natin magagamit yan. Genetic processes yung kung ano yung namana niya na pag-ugali sa magulang, mga ganyan. And metabolic disorders sa pangangatawan niya, kung paano nagre-react ang kanyang katawan sa isang certain stimuli. So okay. Mayroon tayong pangalawa, psychogenic approach. So, psychogenic approach naman, so, in-address natin yung misbehavior ng tao na response niya sa isang situation. O halimbawa, mapapansin nyo kapag kapag hinahabol tayo ng aso. So, ang ating response doon is tatakbo tayo ng matulin, tatakbo tayo ng mabilis. So, yan yung mga in-assume daw na ang misbehavior is response daw ng isang tao dun sa isang situation. So, early childhood experiences which disturb or distort the development of a stable personality may result in later childhood and adulthood in antisocial tendencies and behavior manifesting themselves specifically in criminal activity. So, sabi ko sa inyo kanina, sa psychogenic, sa kanyang pag-iisip, sa kanyang behavior, so, doon sa namulat, kung anong nakagisnan niya, kung anong namulatan niya na pag-ugali sa kanilang bahay, sa kanilang mga kaibigan, sa kanilang mga kapitbahay, sa environment na kinalakihan niya, so pwedeng may tendency na yun yung ma-adapt niya at saka magawa niya in the near future. The causes of criminal behavior lie in defective primary socialization of the child so that his or her innate antisocial motivation are not brought under control. So, ang mga dahilan daw sa kung bakit ang bata ay nakakagawa ng criminal behavior, criminal actions is it's possible daw na defective yung kanyang socialization, kung paano siya binuhay, kung paano siya namuhay. So, mayroong mga instances na mayroon siyang experiences na hindi maganda, it's either trauma, stress, kung ano man yan. So, yun yung nag-iinganyo sa kanya makagawa ng isang behavior. Okay, the failure to develop a warm, loving relationship with one or both parents as the result of physical separation, deprivation, or harsh or inconsistent treatment is seen as distinctly criminogenic, and subsequent criminal behavior constitutes the acting out of the feelings of guilt and frustration engendered by this early experience. So, yun yung mga mayroon tayong broken family. So, yan yung mga instances na pwedeng trigger sa tao, sa bata na gumawa ng masama dahil siguro sa negligence, dahil from the start sa pamilya nila hindi niya maramdaman na siya ay inaalagaan, siya ay minamahal, siya ay di siya binibigyan ng attention. So from the start ng kanyang pamumuhay, early child hanggang sa kanyang pagtungtong sa adulthood, so may possibility na yun ay yung mag-trigger sa kanya gumawa ng masama. Okay. The third one is sociogenic approach. Attributed to the learning process, cultured in the youth gangs, stigmatizing, contacts with the government. So ito namang sociogenic, socio, kung ano yung mga bagay na nakakapag-trigger sa kanya para gumawa ng masama. It's either halimbawa sa gangs, makikita nyo, yan, stigmatizing contact with the government. So yung mga mayroon tayong halimbawa, mayroon tayo sa PNP na ipinapatupad halimbawa na batas na bawal ang naga-rugby. So yun. So kinakailangan i-maintain yun, alagaan yung ating kabataan dahil sabi nga ni Dr. Jose Rizal, sila yung pag-asa ng ating bayan. Katulad ninyo, you are considered youth because mayroon para sa inyong hindi pa nagtungtong ng edad na sa 20 sa edad na 20. So kinakailangan natin pag-aralan kung ano-ano yung mga kung sino-sino yung mga pwedeng makapag-trigger sa tao para gumawa ng masama. So, based on community psychology, social transaction between different individuals across settings. So, dito daw sa community, sa pag-ugali ng komunidad, so, may, kung sino-sino yung nakakahalubilo ng tao, magkakaiba-iba ng, alam naman natin, lahat ng tao, magkakaiba-iba ng pag-ugali, magkakaiba ng paniniwala sa buhay. So, kung ano yung makagisnan ng tao, sabi ko sa inyo, paulit-ulit, so yun yung pwedeng makasira sa kanya in the near future. Sociogenic theories see criminal behavior as socially acquired and hence focus on the ways in which cultural and or social structural factors are crime-producing. Thus, social environment influences or subcultural socialization experiences in family, class, and peer group make it likely that some social groups will be involved in criminal activity. So, sa sociogenic theories, naniniwala rito na ang pag-ugali raw ng bata is pwedeng makuha, masamang pag-ugali ng kabataan, ng tao is pwedeng makuha sa social, it can be acquired through social ways. So, halimbawa, sumasama ka sa mga tao na gumagawa ng masama, nagnanakaw, snatchers, mga ganyan. So, sila yung pwedeng maka-udyok sa'yo. So, youth behavior disorders. Mayroon naman tayong mga disorder. Kapag sinabi natin disorder, yung hindi magandang ginagawa ng bata, hindi siya sakit pero ginagawa na masama ng kabataan. So meron tayong antisocial behavior. So kung mapapansin niyo sa first part nitong first nag-i-upload ko, makikita niyo katanungan na ganito. Antisocial behavior, disobedience, and disrespect for authority. Always remember the terminologies used because sa board exam, kung abot kayo dito, ito talaga yung mga tanong na mapapansin niyo dun. So disobedience, hindi pagsunod at saka hindi pagrespeto sa authority, sa main uniform, halimbawa sa police, sa barangay tanod, sa ano ng gobyerno, halimbawa social workers. So yun yung mga antisocial behavior na ginagawa nila. Truancy, absences without cause for more than 20 days. Halimbawa sa pag-aaral, so truancy kapag ginawa ng bata, pag-absent ng more than 20 days, so ang disorder na yun is truancy. Emotional disorder, fear reactions, temper tantrums, and jealousy reaction. Ito yung mga tao na trauma, halimbawa, mayroong pinagdadaanan na hindi niya masabi-sabi, katulad na lamang halimbawa ng problema sa bahay nila dahil nag-aaway parating magulang, tapos halimbawa poverty, kulang sila sa pera, halimbawa. So yun yung mga possible na pwedeng makasira sa kanya. So lying, not telling the truth, disorder din yan. Stealing comes from loose morals in the home, lack of economic security. Siyempre, poverty, kapag ganyan, so yan yung mga bata na gumagawa ng masama dahil din siguro sa kanilang pinagdadaanan. Of course, we have international legal framework for children in conflict with the law. So ito yung mga na-create na pwedeng i-address yung mga problema ng kabataan. So, under UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 37, no child shall be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So, dito, mapapansin natin na lahat ng bata is kinakailangan, they are equally given enough treatment, equal treatment, enough attention para maramdaman nila na sila ay mahal ng community kung saan sila belong. So halimbawa sa pamilya nila, so dapat karapatan ng bata na ibigay sa kanya yon. Neither capital punishment nor life imprisonment without possibility of release shall be imposed. So hindi natin po pwedeng yung halimbawa Mayroon pa tayong sa batas, kung makikita nyo, acted without discernment is not legally liable for any criminal offense that they have committed. So mapapansin natin dyan na hindi sila po pwedeng kasuhan ng capital punishment, lifetime imprisonment, kung ano pa man yan. So they are exempted as long as they don't acted with discernment. Yung halimbawa sa 14 years above, may mga instances dyan. So hindi ko yan i-tackle kasi I am not hindi to criminal law. Okay. Every child deprived of liberty shall be treated with humanity and respect for the inherent dignity of the human person, and in a manner which takes into account the needs of persons of his or her age. So, i-treat natin yung bata doon sa kanyang edad. Hindi natin pa pwedeng kung yung matanda, kung may punishment ka, kung ano yung kaya ng bata ipagawa sa kanya, ipagawa mo sa kanya as long as kaya ng kanyang pangangatawan, ng kanyang pag-iisip. Wag mong pahirapan yung bata sa mga gawain na hindi niya kaya. So every child deprived of liberty shall be separated from adults. Sa halimbawa, kinukulong mo sa bahay, yan yung mga halimbawa, hindi mo pinapag-aral, hindi mo siya pinapasama sa lakad, halimbawa paminsan-minsan. So yan yung mga possibility na po pwedeng makasuhan ng isang magulang o isang parents guardian. So under Article 39, Rehabilitation of Child Victims. So state parties shall take all appropriate measures to promote physical and psychological recovery and social reintegration of a child victim. Recovery and reintegration shall take place in an environment which fosters the health, self-respect, and dignity of the child. So, mayroon tayong rehabilitation kung saan yung mga child victims, halimbawa, tinutorture ng magulang, pinapagtrabaho, sabi natin yung slavery, mga ganyan. So, they should be put in a rehabilitation center, whereas they could be physically and psychologically recovered. Yung care, pwede silang ma-reintegrate sa community ulit na wala sa kanila yung mga trauma, stress, at saka kung ano pa man diyang nakasira sa kanila. Okay. Under Article 40, which is juvenile justice, we have established a minimum age of criminal responsibility. So, Pilipinas, meron tayo nito. Okay. Criminal responsibility. 14, if I'm not mistaken, acted without discernment is not criminally liable. So, agaralan ko ulit ito kay 2000 kahit pulis na ako is hindi ko pa rin basta-basta may memoryado kung ano yung napag-aralan ko dahil nga rin sa mga experiences ko sa buhay na nakakalimut tayo. I'm sorry. Not take any action against a young person unless there are provisions with the law. So hindi tayo po pwedeng agad magbigay ng punishment sa tao, sa bata hanggang walang batas na nagsasabi na po pwede siyang kasuhan, i-punish. Okay. Presumption of innocence. Dahil nga bata sila, they are considered innocent. Okay, not compelled to give testimony or confess. They are not allowed. Hindi sila po pwede na magbigay ng testimony or confession sa korte unless mayroong ang magulang, consent ng magulang. Okay? Access to legal counsel. Of course, they have the right to be heard, na mayroon silang counsel, mayroon silang attorney na mababatas, mayroong lawyer na hahawak sa kanilang kaso, na magtatanggol sa kanya. Provide a variety of alternative disposition or institutional care. So, kinakailangan ang batas ng isang lugar is gumawa ng iba't ibang alternative kung paano nila i-address ang issues concerning youth criminal offenders. Okay. Mayroon tayo ritong the Riyadh Guidelines, UN Guidelines for the Prevention of Juvenile Delinquency, and the Beijing Rules, UN Standard Minimum Rules for the Administration of Juvenile Justice System. So, ang tanong, bakit natin kinakailangan pag-aralan ito lahat? Because in the board exam, napakalawak ng kanyang scope. So, kinakailangan natin pag-aralan. Sabi natin dati, kung sino man yung nakapag-aral dati ng subject na yon, I'm sorry, is we have to compare the laws given to other countries and the laws we have in our country. So, the prevention of juvenile delinquency is an essential part of crime prevention in society. By engaging in lawful, socially useful activities and adopting a humanistic orientation towards society and outlook in life, young person can develop non-criminogenic attitudes. So, pinapangalagaan natin dito sa guidelines na to is pinapangalagaan dapat yung karapatan ng bata, ng youth, ng minor para ma-prevent sila gumawa ng krimen sa society. The successful prevention of juvenile delinquency requires efforts on the part of the entire society to ensure the harmonious development of adolescents with respect for and promotion of their personality from early childhood. So, okay. Sa pagbibigay sa bata, halimbawa, sa pagbibigay ng iba't ibang alternatives ng ating bansa, halimbawa, ng batas na pinapatupad sa criminal justice system, so doon pa lang ma-hinder natin, ma-stop natin, ma-prevent natin kung ano man yung possibility na gawin ng bata in the near future, ng kabataan sa susunod na henerasyon. Because kapag wala tayong batas na pinapatupad, walang mag-stop sa kanila, walang batas na mag-address kung paano sila alagaan, so they will continue doing this misbehavior. Okay, under Republic Act number 9344 o ang tinatawag nating Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006. Always remember this one because in the board exam lumalabas ito. As amended by Republic Act number 10630. Okay. It is an act strengthening the juvenile justice system in the Philippines, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9344, otherwise known as the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, and appropriating funds therefore. So, itong batas na to is naglalayon para alagaan, para bigyang pansin yung mga kabataan na gumagawa ng misdemeanor sa society. Why the need to treat children differently? May tanong dito, bakit nating i-treat ang iba't ibang bata na magkakaiba? Because ang dahilan nito is the emerging Filipino family is 30% poor. Ang karamihan sa Pilipino is 30% poor ang pamilya. Mothers work to augment income. Hindi sila naalagaan ng nanay nila dahil kinakailangan din magtrabaho ng nanay. In Filipino society, children owe their lives to their parents. Expecting them to augment family income blurs line between discipline and abuse. So, sa atin kasi, paniniwala natin na yung kapag anak ka is sinasabi sa iyo na utang nanay ng magulang na utang mo sa akin ang buhay mo. Hindi ka mabubuhay sa mundo kung hindi dahil sa akin. So, doon pa lang is para i-disiplina mo yung bata, sasabihin mo sa kanila wala kang utang na loob, mga ganyan. So, di mo alam na tutorture mo yung kanyang moral, na tutorture mo yung kanyang mental capability, na-abuse mo siya in the way na yung kanyang pag-iisip is na-abuse mo. So, kinakailangan nating tanggalin yan. Tanggalin kung ano man yung paniniwala ng magulang natin. Kung mapapansin nyo sa mga magulang natin dati na sinasabi sa atin yan na mga ganyan. So, napakasama yan. Okay, we are going to discuss the difference between adolescence and minority. The factors profile of adolescence is that in transitional period of cognitive abilities, emotional judgment, impulse control, identity, brain development, in the process of maturing. So, kapag sinabi daw natin adolescence, ito yung transition period kung paano lumilipat o kung paano naiiba to a certain level yung cognitive, yung pag-iisip ng tao, ng bata, emotional judgment, kung paano niya matatanggap yung mga bagay-bagay sa mundo, impulse control, ito yung temper niya, identity, kung sino siya, kung ano ang gusto niyang mangyari sa kanya bilang siya, Okay, brain development at saka yung utak to a certain level na dun siya magmamatured. Okay, kapag sinabi naman natin minority, it is underage individual person. Ito yung underage individual person, yung mga minor, halimbawa yung 9 years old, bata pa yan, children cannot work, sila yung mga bata na hindi pa po pwedeng magtrabaho, vote, hindi pwedeng bumoto, hindi pwedeng magpakasal, enter into contract, not allowed to join military combat, o kaya hindi sila pwedeng mag-join sa military o sa PNP halimbawa. Pero there is an exemption, for example. Sa culture natin, sa Maranao, kung mapapansin nyo, we are allowed to marry at the certain age, halimbawa 12. It depends on the consent of our family, of our parents. Itong children cannot work, meron na mga bata nagtatrabaho at age of 9 because of poverty. So, ito din define dito na ito yung pagkakaiba. Pero meron mga instances na ito ay hindi natutupad o hindi sinusunod. Okay. Republic Act 9344, which is Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2002, was established on put into law on May 20, 2006. Okay. IRR 19 September 19, 2006. Revised RI December 29. Ito yung proseso. Kung i-google nyo, mamaya makikita din natin dito 9344. Okay, as amended by RA 1063. Declaration of State Policy. Law that protects best interest of the child. Why it is best interest? Because lahat ng aspeto na meron ang bata dapat na ibigay sa kanya is nakapaloob sa 9344. Okay, applies the principle of restorative justice. Restorative justice is that yung bata kapag gumawa ng masama, gumawa ng hindi maganda sa society, is kinakailangan nilang ilagay sa rehabilitation center, sa DSWD, o kaya i-discipline sila ng maayos na naayon sa batas. Okay, best interest. Ito sinabi ko sa inyo. Totality of circumstances. Okay, lahat ng circumstances na nakapaloob sa kanya, na pupwedeng ibigay sa kanya, pupwedeng niyang rights niya bilang isang bata is kinakailangan ibigay sa kanya. Condition most congenial to survival. Protection, feelings of security of a child, and most encouraging to physical, psychological, emotional development. Ngayon ang tanong, bakit ito best interest? Because kapag napunan yan, lahat is nabigay sa bata, hindi magkakaroon ng tendency na gumawa ang bata ng masama. Kung mapapansin nyo yan. Okay, least detrimental available alternative for safeguarding growth, development. Okay. Alagaan mo siya ng mga maganda, ibigay mo sa kanyang karapatan niya, sa kanyang paglaki, tapos development, ibigay mo kung anong mga bagay na naayon sa kanyang edad. Ayan yung best interest. What is restorative justice? Okay, process of resolving conflicts with maximum involvement of victim, offender, community. May tayong VCO. Okay, ito daw yung proseso kung paano gina-resolve, inaayos yung conflict ng bata, ng biktima, at ng komunidad. Okay, with maximum involvement. Preparation for victim. Reparation for victim. Okay, yung biktima halimbawa sa batas, biktima dun ng minor is kinakailangan nilang bigyan ng karapatang tulong para hindi masyadong masakit sa kanila kung ano man yung nagawa ng bata ng isang youth offender sa kanila. Reconciliation of OVC. Reconciliation is pag-ayusin natin yung biktima na ginawa ng masama ng bata, offender ng bata, at saka ng community. Okay. Reassurance to offender that he/she can be reintegrated into society. Of course, kapag nilagay natin sila sa DSWD o sa rehabilitation center o saan man na meron alternative capability ang community para ma-restore ang kanyang pag-ugali, is i-assure natin na siya ipababalikin natin sa community. Hindi natin siya pwedeng ikulong. Okay. RA 9344 introduces the balanced approach or the restorative justice. Sabi natin kanina, yung alagaan mo si victim, bigyan mo siya ng reparation, ayusin mo yung gusot na ginawa ng bata, alam mo, ng youth. Okay, reconciliation. Okay, mga ganyan. Focus says on losses suffered by the victims, holding the offenders accountable for the harm they have caused and building peace with the community. Okay. Dito sa 9344 is focuses on losses suffered by the victims. Of course, titingnan natin kung ano may tutulong ng batas ng Pilipinas, ng community, doon sa biktima. Tapos, liable natin yung bata to the certain extent na naayon sa kanyang gulang, naayon sa kanya kung ano man yung ating gagawin na rehabilitation. Okay, and peace building community. Ayusin natin yung komunidad. How is restorative justice different from the current system? Ano yung tanong rito is ano daw yung pagkakaiba ng restorative justice system sa present na sistema ng Pilipinas? It involves more parties because itong restorative justice it involves more parties. Lahat ng parties, both the offenders, the community, and the victim is kasali. Rather than giving key rules only the government and the offender. Restorative justice includes victims and community as well. Okay. Yun, titingnan natin dito. Ito yung kagandahan ng restorative. Rather than measuring how much punishment has been inflicted, it measures how much harm has been repaired or prevented. So, dito sa restorative, hindi na titingnan kung ano yung dapat na inflict sa offender na punishment. Bagkos tinitingnan niya kung ano yung naitutulong sa biktima, sa bata at saka sa komunidad. It recognizes the importance of community initiatives and involvement in responding to and reducing crime rather than leaving the problem of crime to the government alone. So dito sa restorative, binibigyan niya yung community na initiative para mag-involve sila doon sa pag-aayos ng biktima, ng youthful offender, and the community as a whole. Okay. Coverage of the law. Ito yung coverage niya. RA 9344, different stages involving. Okay. Children at risk, vulnerable to committing criminal offenses due to personal, family, social circumstances. So, involved doon sa 9344 is yung mga bata na children at risk due to personal, family, and social circumstances. Ang mga halimbawa nito is yung mga bata na wala na silang magulang, mga bata na wala nang nag-aalaga sa kanila, mga bata na hindi sila makakakain na 3 araw o beses, wala silang matulugan. So, yan yung mga children at risk. Vulnerable. Sila yung mga bata na vulnerable na gumawa ng criminal offenses. Okay. CICL o yung children in conflict with law, from prevention to rehabilitation and reintegration. Okay. Ito mga bata naman sa CICL, ito yung bibigyan natin is prevention. I-prevent natin sila na gumawa ng masama, in conflict with the law, and rehabilitate natin sila at saka reintegrate again to the community. Okay. Children in conflict with the law, who is alleged, sila yung mga bata na allegation nito, accused of or adjudged as having committed an offense under Philippines law. Always remember the definition because in the board examination or in the exam na bibigay ko is ito yung lalabas. So always remember the alleged, accused, or adjudged. Okay, under Section 3 of Republic Act 10630, amended Section 6 of Republic Act 9344, the criminal responsibility. Kung ano yung responsibility, liability ng bata, kung saan siya, kung saang edad siya pwedeng makasuhan o liable sa kanyang ginawa. 15 or under. 15, kapag sinabi natin 15 or under is pababa. Exempt but shall be subjected to intervention program. Ito yung pinag-aaralan natin dito. Baka mapansin nyo, baka sabi nyo, bakit yung batas na ito? So, meron ito is kasi pinag-aaral natin sa mga previous na batas at saka na kung saan dapat sila i-belong. Okay. Pag daw 15 or under, pababa, exempted but subjected to intervention program. Intervention, lalagay sa DSWD. Alagaan sila doon. Okay. Above 15, below 18. Yung bata na above 15, tapos below 18. Exempt unless with discernment, judgment. Sabi natin kanina, kapag sinabi natin acted with discernment, ibig sabihin nun, is alam nila yung ginagawa nila. Alam nila na masama yun. Okay. So they can be criminally liable. But to the extent na ano pa sila? Sasalang sa court proceedings. Okay. Note, the exemption from criminal liability does not include exemption from civil liability. Okay. Pero, may note dito, exempted, halimbawa ang bata ay criminally exempted, not liable. So, it doesn't connote na they are exempted from civil liability. Of course, kapag may nasira sila, ang magulang o kaya ang guardian o kung sino man yung nearest sa kanya, sila ay civil liability. Of course. Okay, kapag may nasira sila, yung magulang ang magbabayad niyan. Hindi ibig sabihin they are criminally exempted na civil liability natin ito. Okay, always remember ang note na to. Okay, what is discernment? Ang definition ng discernment kapag tinanong sa inyo is, it is the mental capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. Okay, kapag alam mo sa pag-iisip mo kung ano ang tama at mali, ibig sabihin nun, the criminal action you have done is planned or did by you with discernment. Okay. Pero paano natin malalaman? With the help of the psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, at least is yung social workers. The determination of discernment shall take into account the ability of a child to understand the moral and psychological components of criminal responsibility and the consequences of the wrongful act, and whether a child can be held responsible for essentially antisocial behavior. Okay, doon, i-determine ng social worker, ng kung sino man niya, psychologist, psychiatrist, kung ano yung capacity ng kanyang utak. So, yun, discernment. Discernment is preliminary determined by social worker. Sabi ko sa inyo. Okay. Yan. Sila yung mag-determine. In all other cases, discernment is determined by the court. Otherwise, trial shall continue. So, sa ibang kaso naman is, ang tumitingin ay ang korte, hindi yung mga social worker. Okay. Section 3, Republic Act 10630. Amended Section 20, Republic Act 9344. Ito naman, iba naman ito. 15 or under, 15, pababa, the authority who has the initial contact with the child in consultation with local social worker development office shall release the child to parents or guardians or nearest relative. Of course, kapag yung bata is well rehabilitated na o napatunayan na hindi siya fully aware of what she had done. So, ibig sabihin, ibibigay natin sila sa parents or guardian sa pinakamalapit na relative. Okay. Child be subjected to community-based intervention program supervised by LSWDO, unless required to be referred to the youth care, Bahay Pag-asa. Always remember the Bahay Pag-asa, managed by LGU or NGO for the best interest of the child. Yan. So, kapag na-determine natin na kailangan niya ng community-based intervention, kailangan niyang matutunan kung ano man yung mga mali niya sa buhay, is pwede natin siyang ilagay sa Bahay Pag-asa. The LSWDO shall determine appropriate program. Sila yung magdedetermine kung ano yung magandang programa na ibibigay sa bata para siya ay well-reformed and rehabilitated. If parents, guardian, nearest relative refuse custody, shall be referred. Of course, kapag Halimbawa, kinatatakutan siya ng magulang. Hindi nila alam kung ano yung best na gagawin nila para matuto ang bata. So, the LSWDO shall have the full capacity to determine what appropriate program should be established or should be done. Registered NGO religious organization, yan sila. BCPC, barangay official, LSWD. F, dependent, kapag ang bata is dependent, abandoned, neglected, or abused by parents, ito yung mga instances, shall be referred to Bahay Pag-asa with parents' written authorization. Of course, if parents refused or no parent, LSWDO file petition of involuntary commitment, provided that the minimum age of child committed to Barangay Pag-asa is 12 years old. Okay. Itong mga nandito is kinakailangan talaga nating memorize to. Alamin ito dahil sa board exam, mangungukote kayo. Ang tawag mangangakote, mangangamote, ang tawag dito. Napakahirap ng board exam kapag hindi ka nag-aaral. So, why, sabi nila, ba't natin sasayangin ang time na nag-aaral na nasa paaralan pa tayo, nasa bahay tayo habang tayo ay estudyante pa lamang. Mag-aaral tayo dahil at the end of the day, sino ba ang magsisisi? Tayo din. Kung anong pinagsisihan ko sa buhay, yun yung naglaga ko ng kaunti pa lang pero ngayon, okay lang naman sa akin. Pero kayo na nasa stages pa lang ng pag-aaral, so you have to focus, you have to motivate yourselves na kinakailangan yung pumasa ng board exam. Okay, what is Bahay Pag-asa? It refers to a 24-hour child caring institution established, funded, and managed by local government units, LGUs, and licensed and or accredited NGOs providing short-term residential care for CICL who are above 15 but below 18 years of age who are waiting court disposition of their cases are transferred to other agencies or jurisdiction. Okay, that is the meaning kung anong pagdi-describe ng Bahay Pag-asa, CICL. Part of the features of a Bahay Pag-asa is an intensive juvenile intervention and support center. Excuse me. IGISC. Always remember, Intensive Juvenile Intervention and Support Center. Okay, Section 49, RA 10630, establishment of Bahay Pag-asa. Each province and highly urbanized city, the LGU shall be responsible for building, funding, and operating a Bahay Pag-asa within their jurisdiction, following the standards that will be set by the DSWD and adopted by the JJWC. So, as you notice, lahat ng probinsya ng Pilipinas is inaatasan na mag-create ng Bahay Pag-asa Center kung saan the children in conflict with law should be given proper care, proper love, and whatever intervention should be given to them. So, kung mapapansin nyo, nakakabagot itong subject natin. So, nasasayo na yun kung ayaw mong mag-aral, ayaw mong matuto, at saka ayaw mong pumasa ng board exam. Because, dito sa online form of learning natin is kinakailangan nating mag-exert ng effort kahit na bagot na tayo. Mind you, kahit na ayaw mo na, sabi nga nila na kapag ayaw, maraming dahilan. Pag gusto, maraming paraan. So, as your instructor, I'm trying my best to inculcate some ideas, some information that is useful for you for the near future. So, kinakailangan yung ang return back sa akin yan is dapat may matutunan kayo at pumasa kayo ng board exam, inshallah. Because as an alumni of Khadija Muhammad Islamic Academy, as the pioneered criminologist ng college nito, I wanted Kimia to produce more criminologists. Because at the end of the day, tayo lang din yung makikita at masasabi natin sa sarili natin na Kimia yata yan. Okay. Maraming salamat.